All right. Welcome back to another episode of Unhinged Bookish Thoughts with Liz and Carrie. We are coming at you in the evening time. I pitched the idea of us having a segment where we do before bedtime chat, which for Liz doesn't count because she doesn't go to bed until 3 a.m. But
Yeah.
I figured the nights that we have to shoot in the evenings, let's make it seem like we have our shit together and we'll just make it a thing.
When do we ever have our shit together?
Yeah, we don't. I was like, let's wear pajamas and have a pajama party. I don't own pajamas.
Yeah.
So Liz showed up wearing pajamas and she was like, can I change? And I was like, absolutely you can. Tonight, we come at you. We're not coming at you, but we are.
It wouldn't be an episode without you saying coming.
I'm literally always saying coming.
You always make a coming joke every single episode.
Every clip we get of me saying we're coming in some way. Anyway,
or we are weird hand gesture
all the time. Let me just get it out. Let me just
get the hand movements out.
Yes, it's done.
No,
it's not.
It's fine.
I'm gonna try not to talk with my hands now, and that's gonna be hilarious.
It's gonna be weird.
We are going to be deep diving into Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. This is a book that we both enjoyed. We somewhat buddy read it. I think Liz finished it before I did, which is not shocking.
Wow.
But yeah, we each got two different. You got yours probably smut?
Yes, because I have that edition. It's just behind me on my shelf up there. And then this is the probably smut edition. It says, time to get wet on the back of it.
Love that.
I wish they would have kept that title. Because wet is such a funny title. Like, how great would have been saying, hey, what's your current read? Wet. My current read is wet.
Wet.
Spelled W-H-E-T. Wet.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think that's fun.
I think it's been great.
Fun. We really wanted to talk about this book because it divided the internet. And I'm still trying to figure out why. Because I guess to me, the reason why I don't understand why it really caught some form of negative wind is just because it feels like a regular
book. Regular romance book.
Romance? Yeah.
Regular sports romance book. Yes.
Yeah, it's good, but there's nothing about this that separates it from the genre, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Incredible. We love Ali Hazelwood.
Yeah.
But yeah, why don't we get into some of the controversy, I guess.
Do you want to do controversy or 1 stars first? Because the 1 stars are great.
Yeah, let's start with the 1 stars and then we'll talk about...
Because some of the 1 stars they can lead us into that. Because, again, there's so much discourse on this. And even today, the day we're recording this, I went through TikTok and I just typed in Deep End discourse. There is so much. It's insane.
Wow.
It's wild. I'm like...
And before we get into the 1-star reviews, I rated this like a 4.5. Because there were a few things that I didn't like that we'll talk about. But just so everybody knows, we really enjoyed this book. I
don't think
it wasn't a 1-star for me.
No, I do. I think every Ali book I've read is a 4-star. Except, no, I take it back. Bride, I think, was a 3-star. Because I didn't like Bride. That is highly controversial. Everyone's like, oh my god, Bride's your best book. I'm like, not really. If you're gonna give me nodding, give me good nodding, okay?
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm a little weird. A little weird like that.
She's a specific nodding.
I need
style.
Specific nodding. And which is why I'm kind of I get the discourse on Deep End because it's kind of niche-ish, not really. But let's get some of these 1 stars. Okay.
Yeah.
Ready? I think the kink got lost in printing of this book. I would rather jump off a cliff into a deep end water than read this again. Wow.
Holy shit.
I think this is hilarious, this next one. If you're Mormon and you practice soaking as the highlight of your college life debauchery, and you'd rather, I'm not going to say that word, or commit arson, then take this take off your undergarments and the love of your life is Adam Smith, what? Then clearly doing all this stuff is going to be mind-blowing to you and the peak of erotic and kinky literature. The start of, if you're a Mormon and practice soaking, I'm like, oh yeah, that's very specific, people.
Yeah. Oh my God.
As someone who was raised Mormon, I'm going to add a little bit of lore to me. None of this. That's more like BYU stuff, but I saw that, I was like, why is that so specific? Like, when you're writing that review, you're like, yeah, I'm going to compare this book to soaking. What? That's a choice. You made a choice, and I'm glad you can stick with it. This one says they would rather drown themselves in a pool than ever read this book again. This is why I picked out some good ones to explain why this controversy is, like, huge. A lobotomy is simply not enough to remove this from my brain.
Gang, I'm gonna stop you right there. What is going on? Yes. What happened to just being like, I don't like this book?
You don't like this book? This is what, yes. My God, I need to deep cleanse my eyes, my brain, my memories, everything. This is a hell no. Why though?
And listen, that's totally fine. You don't have to like this book, but this is some wild way to review a book. Yes. You know what I mean?
I picked like the biggest one. Like, actually, it wasn't when the time I pulled these, which was probably a couple weeks ago. These were like some of the most recent ones. Learning how to read was the biggest mistake of my life.
Oh my God.
Over like a 500-page romance book?
That, again, I don't think that there's anything about this book.
No.
I don't like this. It's making me feel gross.
It's icky,
I do not like this.
This one just says, I have the ick. I'm sore from physically cringing. There were some parts that I could see were cringy, but I'm trying to figure out. I saw a couple different things on the internet. There's a couple of videos that, like, I cringed the entire time. What exactly were you cringing at, though?
I don't understand getting the ick. Like, yeah. I think sometimes romance books like these are inherently icky just because they get kind of cheesy or they... I could understand that.
Yes.
But it kind of comes with, like, the territory of reading this.
Yes. Excuse me, but what does Allie think BDSM stand for? Bible discussion study meeting? There was a lot of, like, religion references in some of these, and I didn't understand why. I'm like...
Yeah, I was just gonna say, was there religion in this? Because I did not pick up on that at all. Okay.
No. I'm like, I don't understand where that's coming from. There was a lot, which was weird.
I almost take that as them being like, the BDSM warning was like, not useless, but I think they're making fun of it. Yeah. Because it didn't feel, which we'll talk about.
Bible discussion?
Yeah, I don't know that energy. That's only, I guess pop off.
50 Shades of Grey, Sheen version.
We did see that one, and we did kind of...
That one's funny. Especially because they say 50 Shades of Grey in the book. So, like, it tracks. It tracks.
Yeah.
But, like, I have never disliked a book this much. Like, enough where I would write any of the things these people have been saying.
Yeah. I've never in my life had the urge to say stuff like that.
No.
Which, like, again, if you are one of these people that wrote that, that's totally fine.
Explain yourself, though.
I mean, I guess it's totally fine. Because most authors, like, try and just not look at those. So
don't read them, because they're
in terms
insane.
of Allie Hazelwood, please don't look at these and take them to heart.
No, I never have I ever wanted to, like I would put why I didn't like it. Not that, like, this is a book that, like, is one of the worst things I've ever read in my life. No.
Yeah. Not to psychoanalyze reviewing either, but a part of me thinks sometimes these 1-star reviews, people are trying to get, like, a comedic response from people.
Yeah, a rise out of people.
Yeah. So, and I've never looked at 1 stars like this, ever, because it does not make me feel good. I hate it.
I do. I've read 1 stars in my own book. That's not a good idea.
Don't. No.
That's not a good idea. But also... I, like, have to laugh at them because sometimes I'm like, did you even read the book? I'm like, oh, DNF'd at 5%, 1 star. This has, like, no dialogue. I'm like, you read 5% of the book.
I could see Allie Hazelwood like reading some of these and being like, that's kind of clever, or like, haha, I guess that, you know, I guess these weren't all like inherently mean, but they weren't
weird, right?
I just don't like it.
And I don't get why it's so controversial. Like, we liked it. We enjoyed it. I was having a good time. The audiobook. Do I understand the criticisms on the audiobook, which is that the male narrator often sounds like he's from Transylvania instead of being Swedish? Yes, I can see that on occasion. I'm like, there it was. Sound like he was a bad vampire interpretation at a couple of times. I was like, there it was. Now I'm hearing it.
Yeah.
Other than that, I didn't mind it. I thought it was fine. And I'm very particular with audiobooks. And so I'm like, I don't understand where all this is coming from.
Well, yeah. And so let's talk about what you've witnessed. You did some research. I did not. I just have seen
all of it.
Shocker.
Everywhere.
Carrie didn't fucking come prepared. Let's call the press. But from what
everybody listen, Carrie didn't prepare.
Carrie did not do what she was supposed to do.
That's good.
From what I could tell, just from scrolling, was people didn't think that Allie marketed this enough as like sexually, in terms of like how spicy it is, because there's sex in this more so than her previous, but like Allie Hazelwood has had sex scenes in her previous work.
Yes,
I would say this has a lot more, but I didn't think that she didn't market it that way.
No, I mean, it's been, I feel like from the very beginning when she was talking about it, she's like, this will be my spiciest book.
She was going to call it Wet.
Yeah, it was going to be called Wet for a reason. And it's like, I think there is a section at the very beginning that, let me see if I can even turn to the page. This one is for all the Amsterdams. It says this contains consensual and then like exploration of kink. It literally says that as like a trigger warning in the book. And so when you go into it, and I forget what her name is, but there's one content creator on TikTok that I follow that does a breakdown of like the spiciness in books. And so like based on the chapters, I think this one was at like a 9% versus the rest of Allie's books is like a 5. So if this is like your introduction, or if you read Bride and then you read this, very different. What, Bride had 2 spicy scenes, like one main one toward the end or something. This much spicier.
Yeah.
But
a little more detail into it.
Yes. This feels more like Love theoretically to me, as far as like spice and like the communication style. And I'm like, I don't feel like this was like that much spicier than anything else. I feel like it was on par with most other like romance books right now.
Right. And I would say for Allie, this one felt like it was more on page than her other ones. However, not far off, but there was just more of them. So to me, and this is most definitely not the spiciest like romance book that I've read, like sports romance. So I was a little taken aback. Yeah. By like people rioting about that. And I can understand if this type of spice isn't for people, because I do feel like Allie's type of spice is a little different. Does that like make sense? I don't know if I'm explaining. A little bit different. Yeah, it's very much in Allie's voice. Like I do think there's that difference.
I can't even think of what I was going to say. Oh, this one is longer than the majority of her other books, and so I think if I look at it as like having more spice. Well, this is 500 pages versus I think the majority of our other books are what, like 300, not even 400 pages. So I would expect more. And there is a large chunk in this book that has a lot of spice in it. But I'm also like, it didn't feel out of place. Like there wasn't a moment in there that I'm like, why are they, like, we made a joke on the last one, like, why are you doing it in the library? Like, there was no point in this story that I felt like it was.
There was sex for the sake of.
Yeah, just
like,
kind of
meeting a quota.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and it's funny because you'll see half the videos are like, this was too spicy. It wasn't like marketed correctly. I wasn't expecting that. And then like the other half is like, what are you talking about? This isn't that spicy. And it's always both ends of the spectrum. It's not like anywhere in between. It's this is way too spicy and this was not spicy enough. And I think that leads into like the kink aspect of it, because it is marketed as a BDSM book, right? And you still have both ends of it. Like, this is not BDSM enough. This is too much BDSM. And I'm just like,
right.
What are we supposed to be doing here?
Well, and I think to give a little context for people, if you haven't read this yet, but you want to listen, this book is about a diver and the male main character is a swimmer, and they end up like getting into a relationship. He was in a long-term relationship. They broke up, which that part did piss me off in this book. The
other woman drama.
The other woman, because it's not a love triangle, but it like felt that way.
Yeah.
And I did not love that they didn't tell their friends that they broke up. Like, it just felt, that part weird. I did not like.
That would be if there was any part that was like icky to me, that would be the icky part.
Yes. It just felt weird because they clearly had moved on. Well, he did. He was moved on. She was still kind of like hung up on him a little bit. But yeah, that's kind of why I didn't give it a 5-star, was because, what was her name?
Pen.
What was Pen?
Pen.
Yeah.
Penelope.
I didn't like Pen. Gonna be honest. Nobody come at me. I did not like Pen, and Pen. Especially what she did towards the end. I won't say what. That really did actually not sit well with me.
Yeah. That was more, and I just felt like than anything for me.
Yeah. I mean, good on Scarlett for being a bigger person and being like, we can move on from this, but I was annoyed.
I would not be the bigger person.
I would not have been a bigger person.
The things I would have said in that moment at the end, I almost made a reference to one of the reviews. That would have been bad. It would not have been kind. I would have probably lost my scholarship if I was Scarlett.
Yeah, I would have been swinging hands, honestly.
Yes.
But yeah, that was the only part of this book. Nothing else bothered me.
Yeah, I just didn't like the other woman drama. It didn't make any sense to me. I'm like, why? Why are we here?
Yeah. I think we also wanted to talk about the BDSM part, because that was something people were talking about for sure. At the beginning, you know, when she mentions like this is a BDSM because it's like a power play type of situation, I think that was perfect.
Yeah.
I think that was a great. However, in the book, they do like these contracts, like kink contracts, where they say what they're comfortable with, all of this stuff. Liz and I were both like, hell yeah. Like, we were like, this is about. I was pumped. That never really.
No.
That for me is also what kind of fell short, which is fine.
I think,
but I just felt like
definitely fall on the end where we're like, it's not BDSM enough. Like, if you're gonna tell me it's BDSM and it's kinky, give me a little bit more. That's where we fall.
Yeah. I think if the contract part wasn't even like in the book, I still would have been like, yes, this is a power play situation, because she does kind of give herself to him, and leans into that. But like, they really amped it up with like, she's into really kinky stuff, he is too, and then that just never escalated.
No. I did see one video that really like kind of made sense though, because a lot of people have, I think Praise, I think that is the other like sex club BDSM book that everyone keeps comparing it to, as far as like what's been popular on like TikTok and stuff. They're like, well, it kind of makes sense if you remember that these characters are 21 years old. And I was like, oh, yeah, that actually kind of makes sense. And like, most other BDSM books have older characters. I feel like a lot of them have like age gap in them, and the male is always older. And I think Praise was a good example, because the gentleman in that one is 40 years old. So there's like a 20-year age gap between that character and these characters. So they're just starting in their like BDSM like exploration, trying to figure it out. And there was a couple videos I watched that have people who are within that community that are like, no, this is like appropriate for people starting to explore that kind of niche.
So it almost, the way I should have read it is almost that the like consent, like contract, what are you into, is just something that they can like maybe go and look upon as the relationship grows. That makes sense then. That's on me.
No, that's because I thought the same thing until I watched those videos today. And I was like, oh, okay. Now it makes sense. Because, you know, their relationship, I don't even know how long it is in this book. But if I look at it that way, like by the time we get to like the end, or let's say there's a sequel to this and it's like 10 years down the road, their exploration of that like contract should have extended because they would have more time to build on it. They'd be able to explore each one in depth because they don't want to like go too far, right? Like, let's go to the next one on the list. Let's see how we feel about that. And maybe that pushes too many boundaries and they have to like back it up and like, okay, what do we like? What do we not like? And then you reassess it. And it's like, yeah, that actually makes it make way more sense because you're right. If you're a couple just starting out, trying to explore it together, you're not going to like go into the deep end, right? Just straight to the bottom of the list. It's going to be like build up
deep
to
end.
And so,
I
was like, okay.
Well, and like you said, the age, I didn't really think about that. And sometimes I need to remind myself not every character is my age.
Yeah, I do that all the time. All the time.
So that's on me. But then also, I feel like he did just get out of a long-term relationship with a partner that was not into kinky stuff. So really, he might be into those things, but he hasn't gotten to explore them in their full, you know, caliber either. So that all makes sense. But at the time when I was reading it, it kind of bothered me. But now I understand. Like, that's perspective that I'm glad that you found that. Because now it
makes more sense, right? You're like, oh, okay. I also wonder, and, you know, this is just me, like, assuming that maybe he wanted to push the limits with Penn, and he couldn't. Like, he tried, but kept, you know, getting either rejected or, like, red lighted constantly. So maybe he is more hesitant to, like, pick it up, right? Like, he doesn't want to go too fast with Scarlet because he's afraid that that's going to happen. And so he's, like, taking it very slow because he's like, no, like, I don't want to mess this up. And so he's like, I want to make sure she's having a good time. I'm having a good time. And it is very much that power play because he knows that all of it is in his hands and he could easily just, like, end up done. Because she could just be like, yeah, we're done. Bye. Get out of here. And then he kind of loses that, like, he likes her and he also is getting this, like, exploration out of the way. And so I think he's more hesitant to try to push it too far.
Yeah. And I think, too, when you're reading the book, like, the chemistry is there.
Yeah.
So it's almost like he might not need to push it because he's enjoying what they're already doing in those moments.
Yeah. Just live in it. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah. But and I will say, and I've said this when we've talked about it before, for us, this felt very tame. But for other people, this might be the perfect amount of BDSM for you. So, like, there's no judgment. But I think really I was expecting a lot more.
And I laughed because I thought of some of the unhinged smut we've read. And that's why I laughed right there. I instantly thought of Basted, and I went...
Guys, I literally just read a book where the girl is having so much coitus. Is that the word? Is that she's having so much coitus that her pelvis is broken. Like, they...
I still want to do that fantasy where you, like, read and I'm just like, what is happening?
It's a fantasy book, so don't worry. Her pelvis is fine. And he healed her pelvis, and to thank him, they did it one more time. But
drop in the comments if you know what that is.
Yeah, I have definitely read some crazy things. So really, us saying that this is tame, it's just because we really have read so many things.
It's very much
good sex, though.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was done well. I enjoyed the power play. He was very much like, no, you're gonna listen and you're gonna do this, and I'm like, Because she even like talks about how she likes to give up full control. Like she's like, no, I like to be dominated. And he's like, bet, baby.
Yeah. I thought Lucas was incredibly attractive. Loved every second of him. Yeah. And then, like, the swimming part, the thing about Allie Hazelwood, too, is I'm learning shit as I'm reading it. Like, she has a way of, like, teaching me things. As I'm, like, her other books, too, like, they're usually women in STEM, that kind of thing. And I'm like, class is in session.
You're like, what am I going to learn today?
Yeah. And this is all stuff that Liz knows, because she's, like, a brainiac and she has like a biology degree. Is that right?
Yeah, I do.
See, I know. Yeah, I know you.
With the heart.
I know you.
Did I do that right?
Yes. Yeah. But like sometimes I have to like physically sound out some of these words and like use my finger because your girl is not smart. So I am learning things. Yeah. But I love it. It was good. I would say, do you have any books that you could recommend that give this vibe?
No, I don't think
I put you on the spot.
I know. Now I'm like, oh God, what would I recommend with this? All of Allie Love Theoretically. I think this one, in comparison, let's like talk about all of Allie's book. I don't think if you're reading this and you're like, ooh, I'm going to deep end into Allie's books, I would not say all of them are going to fit your taste. I would say that Love Theoretically would, because it also has similar like power dynamics, but the communication is really strong. Yeah. Like I wouldn't, this in comparison to like Love Hypothesis or Love on the Brain. Yeah. Starkly different. No. Starkly different. I would not. So
I would compare this if I had to. If you guys wanted something with a similar vibe, Carrie is thriving in this type of genre right now.
Very much so.
I would definitely say Out of the Woods. We just talked about that in our last episode. That one's kind of like in terms of the spice level. Yeah. I would
communication
also say,
and banging.
Yeah. I would say Marion Moore definitely has some of the similar vibes. I was gonna say Icebreakers, but really maybe Icebreakers, but maybe not.
Maybe. I feel like Icebreaker is such like another highly controversial.
It's another controversial
for multitude of reasons. I feel like if I read that again, I wonder if I would like it now, because I read it so early in my like reading. I need to read the rest of the series and then I can make a decision on it. But yeah, the sports mixed with spice with younger characters, I think that would work.
Yeah, like college level characters.
Yes.
Very spicy, longer. I don't know. I think
that would make sense. I don't read a lot of sports romance.
I do.
So I'm like, I'm trying to even think of like any fantasies, because obviously I don't have all my books downstairs. They're all up in my office. So I don't even have, and unfortunately I don't have Fable on this. I only have Goodreads,
I would also say if anybody has read Christina Lauren, that's like the writing duo. They did like the soulmate equation. Those could potentially be, I just can't remember how spicy those ones were. They might not be as
spicy.
There might not be as many scenes.
I've only read one, and it was that
was it the soulmate equation? Maybe this week, because Carrie is on a break from school, so this week I'm gonna really try and read my little ass off. Maybe I'll try and come up with a post that will be recommendations that are like Deep End.
Yeah.
That way, if this is something that you really liked, we could, try and help you out.
I'm trying to think. Muscles and Monsters. It's cute. There's no there's a lot of it does have like, I wouldn't say kink necessarily. But it's a werewolf romance. So if you liked Bride and you liked this and you wanted like an in-between that's like a kind of a meet cute with similar like communication, like that tension back and forth, Muscles and Monsters would probably fit. There is that one's kind of funny though.
You know what books have kinks?
Books. Huh.
Cleo Evans.
Yes, she has a ton of kinks. But I was trying to think, like, her small town romance, I was thinking that one. But I'm like, would that work?
It's a very different vibe to this one.
Yes, they have very, very different vibes, which is the only reason why I was like, maybe not on that one. But I mean, anything by Cleo. Just read it. Just read it. I know.
This is just us saying, I don't know, maybe you should read them, and if you read them, maybe...
Hey, I was right. That is the one I read. It's on my list. Let me see. Cosmic Kiss.
Oh my god.
I love that book. I will always recommend it. I fucking love it. Tara DeWitt. I would suggest those books. They're spicy. There's not a whole lot of kink in them, but
no, I could understand why you. I'm looking right at that, and I'd wondered, but I didn't want to say.
I would say if you want like that sweet MMC, that's like totally understandable. And I just had the scene from The Cop Out pop in my head, and I'm like, I might have to read that one again. Not The Cop Out, The Co-op. That's not what it's called. It's called The Co-op. Yes, that one.
If you see me cranking my neck, it's because I'm looking at all of my sports romances are on these shelves.
I have swiped. I am back into 2023, and I'm going to be completely honest. I don't think I've seen a single sports romance on my list. Okay?
It is not your thing.
No. And then I'm like, Until I Get You technically is like a hockey romance, but it's not a hockey romance. It's very, I don't consider it one. No,
yeah,
I do not have any. I don't have any because I don't read.
Carrie's gonna brainstorm because this is where I should thrive. Truly,
it really is. Like, this is like your thing. This should be where you're like, yeah, that's what I should. Let's see. Okay, so here is a library journal article that was posted about if you liked Deep End, here are the other books that you should read because they have very similar taste. The Game Changer by Lana Ferguson. I've heard a lot about Lana Ferguson. I've never read her. Again, I don't read contemporary romance, so this is like a hard. Pretty much I read 2 contemporary romance authors. Now 3 because Cleo's moving into that genre, but hers is more like romantic suspense. But Allie and Tara DeWitt. Other than that, I don't read contemporary romance. But I do hear a lot about Lana Ferguson, so that could be a good one. Take the Lead by Alexis Daria. I don't know how to pronounce that one. That one has a very pretty cover, so I could be attracted to that. Tessa Bailey, Fangirl Down.
That's right next to me.
Have you read that one?
No. But I have it. I actually just bought it like 2 weeks ago.
Did you?
So I have to read it because I bought it. So
I need to figure out what book I'm reading this month yet. That's like a side note. That's a whole other conversation. I have not read any physical books this month. Let's see. This is now Facebook. Let's see. Christina Lauren. What you said.
Yes.
They said all of their books. Read them.
Yep.
Fiona Cole, Shame. There's a series called Shame Me Not. Never heard of them.
No, I don't think I have either.
And then yet again, Praise is mentioned. And now you're like, no,
yeah,
please no.
Guys, I do recommend Salacious Players Club if you want purely kink, BDSM, and taboo. Like that, if you're looking for that. But if you're looking for like sports romance with those themes, Salacious Players Club is not. It's not.
No, but the Marina Zapata, or however you pronounce your last name, that makes a lot of sense because the 2 books that I know of, one is a football romance and the other one's an ice skating romance.
I will make it my homework. I'm gonna get you guys. I'm gonna do my best for you.
I'm gonna do my best for you and come up with something. I do enjoy this one. I think that I don't understand the controversy, and I think that's like you and me both are like, why is there so much controversy with this? Yeah, I don't get it.
And not to say that if people disliked this, I'm not saying you can't dislike it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
if there were things about this that you didn't like, I understand. Because there were some things about it that we didn't, like, we talked about, you know, earlier. But,
yeah,
I do think it's interesting, like, the type of things that get brought up, you know. Like her marketing the book and that kind of thing. I thought that was interesting because I guess I didn't see it that way. So
yeah. I saw her.
It's wild.
All the things that I saw from Allie is her saying that this is the spiciest book that she's read. And I'm like, yeah, I can believe that. I did see one comment on one of the videos that said, if you think this is spicy, then you never read Allie when she was in her AO3 like days. And I was like, no, I haven't. Now I want to go find those. And read them.
I think too is the only thing I could understand is this shocking some of the people that don't read the things that we read.
Yeah.
I could understand that, but even like some of the people that got the book early and were like doing like some promotion for it, I mean, they didn't shy away from the fact that this was spicier. So I guess if you're not chronically online like we are, maybe I could understand why you pick this up and it kind of startles you.
If this was your introduction to Allie, I can understand. Like,
right.
What's this?
If you've been a longtime fan and you're used to maybe like 1 or 2 spicy scenes from her, I get why this might feel worlds different because there is more sex in it. But
I think it was well done. I think that the exploration, I like the communication, and that's one thing that Allie does a really good job at, is the communication of what the people want. And I think that after reading like Love Theoretically, and I come back to that one because that was the last like contemporary, right, that she wrote before she did like Bride and all this other stuff, right? But I really enjoy that because that kind of pushed it with the communication for her, because the whole time Jack's like, you have to tell me what you want. And this was more into like, this is what I want. That's what you want. Let's compare sheets and find out what we can do together. And I really like that because it wasn't like, besides the other woman drama, which was annoying as so bad. I like that they're like, no, let's figure out what we can do together if we want to have this kind of relationship. And it was nice to see it done in a very like easy way. Like, oh yeah, this is what, oh, that's what you want to do. And then he's like, I want to do that too right now, but I can't do it because we're somewhere that I can't do that too. I'm sorry. I want to do that right now. It's like, yeah, we know. It's fine. You can just go home with that, please.
Lucas is a consent king. Yeah. And we love that. Consent is sexy. And this book, another one that I enjoy.
I like it.
I liked it, guys. We sound really, we're really good at this. We liked it. That's it.
We liked it. It's hard to talk about the controversy though, because this is not a topic that you like discussing. I don't mind it because I'm like, give me the tea, please. I want to know.
I think the issue is like maybe controversy is too dramatic of a word. I think discourse might be the better word because I don't think that this book is like controversial.
Versus,
I think it's
what is happening with a lot of trad published authors at this moment in time.
There are some controversial things happening.
Yes, I see where you're going with this.
And so I think that's kind of like, I don't want to say that this book is like controversial. I think it's just had a lot of discourse.
Yes.
And people are like displeased for some things, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And again, if this was like your introduction, or if Bride was in your introduction to Allie, I can 100% see where you're like, whoa, where did this come from? And you're like,
sure.
But us who have been like around for a while, we're like, yeah, like I wasn't expecting anything different. I was expecting like science mixed with sports. Could I have done without the sports? Yes. Did I learn a lot about diving that I just didn't care to learn? Yes. It's there now. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's fine. Could I still picture it even though I didn't know what they were talking about because I don't watch swimming or diving? Yes, I could still picture what was happening. And I understood based on context of how Allie writes things, what is happening. So I'm like, I can figure it out pretty easily.
I think too, like for some people, it does get like a little too like okay, we didn't need all of this information, but I also think the beauty about reading Allie Hazelwood is, like I said, you learn something.
Yeah.
So you're going to find the right people that are like, actually, because I just read this, I'm going to go Google that. Like, I Googled some things because I was like, this is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's preference based. Like, Allie Hazelwood she's doing the damn thing. Like, I really think that this is a great book. If you're looking for a spicy sports romance, she does it in her own way, but I wouldn't say it's like so dramatically different from the other books that are out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I hate to say that there's nothing that sets it apart from like most other contemporary romances, because I do love Allie and I like her writing style, but it's not any different. It's not like going against the grain. It's not worlds different. It's nothing that's like completely trying to change the market. It is very much a contemporary romance, a sports romance. If that's not what you're into, you're not going to like the book.
Yeah, she's just, yeah, that's kind of what I mean. Like, this is very much in Allie's voice, so you're gonna get like the Allie vibes from it.
Yeah.
So it's true to her, but the discourse around this book, I just didn't understand because it's not, I don't know. If you've read this type of thing, then it's not jarring, I guess.
I will say
I don't know, guys.
It goes a little bit against a different, like, her formula, I would call it. So her majority of her contemporary romances, all her STEM books, all have the same formula. Okay, they are, and this has like, I would say 75% of her formula in it, but like obsessed MMC, kind of like a naive, like not fully confident FMC. You know, that's the same thing. He's going to be gigantic, massive, looks like a refrigerator kind of man, okay, with a giant manhood.
Yeah.
So it's good, and it follows the same like points, right? If you've read Love Hypothesis, I think I read Love Hypothesis, then I read Love on the Brain, and I kind of knew what the twist was going to happen because I already knew how her formula goes. That's what I'm saying. Like, this does have her formula, especially towards the end. You kind of get the same thing, but there's a lot that's in it that goes against her normal. So maybe that's why people were not liking it as much.
Sure. Yeah. Exactly. No, I understand. It's
Allie, we're gonna love it anyway.
I don't know what else to say, gang. Feel as how you want. We did really enjoy it. We did want to talk about it. I think it's a beautiful book. I love it. I love the little art. Liz was showing me her flat lays that she has. She cannot just whip them out because some of them are not safe for work. But yeah, we love Allie. Love the book. I'm gonna work to getting some recommendations to you guys. We'd love to know your thoughts and feelings on the book as well if you've read it. Or if you have any input on the discourse that is out there on it. Well, no, Carrie does not like reading 1-star reviews. I don't know that I ever want to do that again.
I love 1-star reviews. I like the ones that are like, pick my next read based on 1-star reviews. I think those are hilarious because I'm like, I want to know what they are. I want to know. Tell me.
Yeah. I do think some of them can be kind of funny. Like the ones on like ACOTAR and that kind of thing. But some of those ones just made me like really uncomfortable and sad.
Like, you also don't like being even like slightly being mean to anybody. But you're not. You're
if it's like if it's warranted, obviously that's different. But I don't know. People definitely express themselves in ways that I'm not necessarily.
I don't even write reviews anymore, but I would never put some of that stuff on there. Like, oh, what are you doing, people?
Yeah.
You do know this is public, right?
Yeah, I think the review world is just very different. You know what I mean? Pop off, guys. Do your thing. Live it up. I'm just too sensitive. I just could not put myself out there like that.
No.
I just could not. No, guys, I'm not doing. I just start crying.
Yeah.
We're not doing this again. It's making me feel weird. I don't like where this is making me feel.
Should we read some 1-stars from my book and make you get really angry?
No, because then I'll get pissed.
Coffee mentioned in this book. This dialogue doesn't make any sense. I read 3% of it.
Because this is, I know you, and I love the book and the characters. I would just want to defend.
Yeah.
Your honor, and it would piss me off. So,
but those were our thoughts on Deep End. If you have read it, if you have read Deep End, or you have seen the videos that are discussing the discourse on it, or if you have one of the special editions, because there are, I think, 3 of them. I mean, that's the standard essentially. That's like the exclusive or whatever. This is the Probably Smut, and there's another one that's even prettier than this. So that's what I really like. But this one's cute. I like it. Besides the white pages. Oh. I opened it and it went straight to the not safe for work.
I bet it did.
Ooh, that was
that ass.
That ass there. But if you have read it, we'd love to know your thoughts on this. We'd love to know how you felt about it. What your thoughts on Pen were. Please tell me, because I would love to know your thoughts on Pen. Please. But, as always, read what you want, and don't be a dick. And that includes reviews for authors. Please and thank you. I love that.
Please.
Please.